Oh, here we go. I'm going to turn my camera off. We've got our first map on the screen. We've got the Holdy Wristman versus the non-Holdy Wristman, also known as Time versus Zest TVP. This could be excellent. Time is very, very good at the moment. He has been delivering big time, pretty much consistently. So really believing that Time can bring something up in this. Zest, never an easy opponent, that's for sure. But not impossible, as Zest is playing from his kitchen, apparently. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I feel like Zest has just been outed as being a bit of a messy character. It's not the tidiest background we've seen when it comes to player cams. Top right-hand side, we start with the blue Terran player. We know him, we love him. The Chinese hope, it is Time. And in the bottom left, our red Protoss player from Raise Your Edge Gaming, it is Zest. Of course, Time representing Kaiser Gaming, one of the Chinese teams that plays in the Gold Series Team Championship. That resumes on Monday. So yeah, the Chinese players playing from the studio, the Korean players playing from home, and webcamming in. What the heck is in Zest's background? I've got no idea what's actually in like the right side of his. Just like a laundry basket that has like a mouse mat in it and stuff. Like, yeah, I don't know. There's a weird collect. It's just an interesting background, really. This is, you know, guys, all this time you watch Zest in a Lima League, this is it. Like, this is what Zest looks like. When he's playing a Lima League, all these other online cups, all the times we cast him, that's where Zest sits. Think about that for a moment. Never before have we figured out where Zest is sitting, and now we know. Forevermore, we'll know he's kind of in this little room. Alright, so yeah, Time and Zest. TVP best of 3 to turn on the serious mode for a moment or two. As we do have our probe coming up. A couple of SCVs going to go in and fight, and that probe taking a bit of damage as the command center will go down. So Time going to expand early, as will Zest. No surprises there just yet as we get into game 1 of this best of 3. Depth going to Chrono Boost out, of course. Warp Gate will begin, and I'm kind of interested to see where Zest takes this. I mean, Zest lately has kind of gone for what I would call like an expedited late game, which is where you kind of go into like a super kind of like you just kind of go into like the DTs and blink a lot sooner than you should maybe be able to get away with. Like at 8 minutes, you're already going DTs and blink and just setting up to kind of play like a long game. So Zest really likes to set up into that stage nice and early on. Obviously, that's a few minutes down the line. That doesn't tell us a lot about how he gets there, but oftentimes just with Blink, maybe sometimes in the Colossi, sometimes he does still play like 3 gas, 3 base, kind of mass gateway units. But anything that can lead him into that kind of later game sort of setup is generally kind of a style that Zest is kind of happy going for, so yeah. Well, Time is obviously, again, like I say, has really been rising the ranks, and not just in terms of China. Like, he really has shown up in a lot of online events. I mean, Time for me this year, his War Chest Team League performance was super impressive. He's consistently performing in, events like a Limo League, where there's all the top Korean players playing. Events like the, Kung Fu Cup, which is another of the big, Korean server weekly events. He picks up games all of the time. I mean, taking maps off players like Rogue. He beat Innovation the last time he played in the Kung Fu Cup. Map off Dongwei Goon in a Limo League. He's actually on a winning streak in general against Innovation. Time is in a really good position right now. Like, he is just looking so good. I would honestly not be that surprised if Time just consistently stays at kind of like the highest level in kind of like Korean competition. I'm actually terrified for Time to show up at a LAN event. When we get back to LAN offline events and he can travel, when Time comes to like Europe and plays some of the Europeans, I think we're gonna get a shock as to how well Time does again. Not that it should be a shock, because we saw him doing very well at the end of last year and so on, but I feel like he's gonna show up and like he's got potential to hit like semi-finals for sure. So yeah, it's kind of terrifying. It's kind of terrifying as you do see the blink about to finish up. A pretty peaceful first few minutes. We will see this kind of combo-wombo punching kind of start from time. Widowmine drop one way, the Liberator will go the other, the Marine tank will try to get position on the third at the same time, and Zest is going to be pulled left, right, and center in trying to defend this. It is not going to be easy, that's for sure. So it's going to be a little bit tough in the early moments. As two Widowmines come down this left-hand side, they're going to fly past this third, which is empty. I mean, you can put yourself kind of in a position to hit the natural, but at least then in Zest, you know that the drop can only hit the natural expansion, right? So that's already some information you can kind of look at here and be like, okay, well, I know where one of these units is going to hit from. There's the Marine tank force starting to make its move out, and the Liberator heads to the main base, so Widowmine's natural, Liberator main, and the big push on the third, and this is where you've got to split up a lot of units to deal with this, and right now I feel like Zest doesn't have the units to deal with this. The Stalkers were not out on the map, so the Marine tank has come across without any issues. He's actually going to hit the third base with the Widowmine. Now Zest responds to that pretty much immediately. Stalker's blinking away, minimizing damage taken. But yeah, these Widowmines are actually being a little bit annoying right now. Probe's going to keep on running, and Widowmine ends up joining up with the main army, so that can definitely help. The medevac can join here as well. The Stalker's looking to come in from two sides, and only one of the tanks sieged right now. The Liberator just set up the main base as well, by the way. We might get a look at that in a moment, because it's going to start killing probes. So workers are starting to go down over in the main. 5 workers picked off. I mean, this is going to be a dead nexus if Zest doesn't commit in, and that's why he goes blinking forward right now. Can't believe the Widowmine's off to the side, so it's actually not going to go off. As it would be nice to have it sieged up on top of the army to help with that blink in. He's actually going to save himself the medevac of Marines. That's not bad. And he did kill the third base. Turns out a lot of army to kill the third base. But with the denied mining on the main and a few probes killed and a nexus, I think this is okay. I think this is fine. The Liberator did die. We never got to see it on screen, but it was there. It did exist. There's now the counterattack, though, and this is going to be a difficult part. There's obviously time lost a lot of army supply. How much does he have to defend? Well, a lot of his defense is very immobile with that, being a siege tank. So a little bit frustrating for the moment or two. Oops, that's not paying attention. Loses a Stalker to a Widowmine. He's got Stalkers about to hit the front as well, so it's very important time to set up defensively on both fronts. You can't let the main base fall apart and, just do okay on the natural. I mean, can't let the natural fall apart because this happens. And now you've got SCVs having to pull in against this, and this ain't pretty. These Stalkers can obviously just blink to the left-hand side to get out of here if they need to, although currently no blinking going on at all. A few more Stalkers going down. I mean, time at least getting some extra value at the end here. He loses 9 workers. At the same time, the Stalkers have blinked into the tank on the main base, so time is really struggling here to hold this off. And there's more Stalkers showing up. It feels like the Stalkers on the low ground are about to blink up into the main base, maybe to help out with this Marine Marauder force. That or Zest is going to blink out of the main, and then he's going to have everything to hit on the natural. He's continuing to kill SCVs for the moment. And blinking back nicely again. A whole chunk of extra workers here, so continue to put himself into a really good position. There's that Prism in the main. Couple Stalkers underneath. We're just going to be seeing the few Stalkers of Zest moving out through the center. Stem combat shields and +1 attack all finishing in the next few moments. And our Stalkers just poised to see what they can do, picking away and killing off a bunker, so the bunker will drop. Marines and Marauders going to come through, and the Stalker is going to get hunted down, so the Stalker will fall. And the other couple of Stalkers chased way into the Warp Prism, so that has to back off as well. And we do just have this game reset a little bit. Cool game so far. Really cool game. Good pressure from Zest after time picks off that third base. And now you've got to look at time and say, well, you're 25 workers behind. Surely you're in some big, big trouble here. And I definitely think that is the case. Charge on the way up. Templar, okay, the thing is off 70 workers now. There's nothing to slow Zest down. Zest is just going to go full throttle into the next stage of this game. And that's got to be concerning as we see these SCVs being picked away at. So a couple of SCVs go down from the start. I'm just going to be seeing now set up defensively on this third. Prism just in the back corner still, just hanging around there. I think that's the annoying part, right? The moment the time wants to move out, it's just going to get counted in, and it's going to be a problem. At least the Viking shows up, so he will actually get a kill on this Prism, or at least force the recall. That's nice. Time dealing with that. Man, his starport has been Not so active, huh? Only one medevac and one Viking in the game. Honestly, that production tab, I want to see what's on the way right now. I feel like Time's building a 4th command center already, so he's just kind of saying, you know, let's go late. And there is Storm on the way. I think the 4th base is finished in the front of the Natural, so I think that's ready to move out in a moment or two. There is Ghosts on the way, so Time does get up the answer to the High Templars and the Storms. So having those EMPs available definitely helps out big time. Stalker Zealot army moves to the middle of the map, so into the center we go. The 4 High Templar around the right-hand side, and yeah, just setting up right now as the Marine gets picked off. The Dark Shrine is on the way down. A couple extra Zealots continuing through. I mean, defensively, Time shouldn't really be in much trouble, right? I mean, with the siege tank setup like this, generally, Zest is going to have to push through chokes to get on top of this army. It's not going to be an easy fight to take, so I don't see Time falling apart in the next few moments, but maybe if he stretches out to a 4th base, that's when he does open up the chance for Zest to really come on through and to come in swinging and actually do pretty well against Time's army. That part, definitely problematic. Robot base coming through on the main base, so that's going to be switching up in the splash damage department. Obviously, potential to go into Colossi, Disruptors. As the command center flying down, bit of a biostim, and that Stalker going to get pushed back right away, so the Stalker has to blink away, no problem. Command center going to land, SCV is going to get some mining on the right side. Still just seeing the Zealot Stalker Archon force thinking about pushing up the right side here, ready to push in. I mean, again, like I said, as you take the 4th base, definitely opens up potential for attack. The Stalker's blinking in, hurts the Zealots. The Stalkers blocked the Zealots there, and the EMPs were great on top of them, so yeah, that's just free damage from Time. That was not a good fight from Zest in the slightest. I don't think Zest killed anything there. Now, that was horrible. The Stalkers just blinked to kind of like get a siege tank targeted down, but then the Zealots can't get on top of the Bio Army. So the Bio Army just sits there picking up free kills. What a time to be alive. And we do see still around the top side, Stalker Archon ready to come in from the left. Nice Storm actually going to hit the Bio and the Vikings. It's doing pretty decently here. The High Templar will get taken down. And Prism going to drop another Storm off, so the Marauder's still taking some extra damage. A Storm onto the Mineral Line and SCVs dropping as well. There's the High Templar. It's going to be one more Storm. SCV is going to get picked off pretty much immediately. I mean, good from Zest, because he actually needed to do a little bit of something after that first attack on the right side. Didn't really go well for him at all. So getting a few SCVs here is definitely beneficial. As these Disruptors all joining over on the left-hand side. Our 2-2 upgrades underway. I mean, a little advantage from Time and +2 attack at least. He'll be behind on the armor upgrade, but yeah, having an attack. I like that he's just played very defensively, going to 4 bases. After the start of this game, it just gave him a chance to get into a later stage, and you know, Zest got overzealous and kind of, you know, attacked in when he didn't necessarily need to. As you do have the attempt for 5th base here, apparently soon. The command center is building in front of the 4th, so already setting up missile turrets in the army to protect this position. So Time ready to just go very late game against Zest here. I mean, I feel like that's terrifying, because Zest is so good at late game lately, and he will warp in like 10 DTs at once to try and, you know, harass and kill you. Zest is already split up in 2 directions. The thing is, Time's defending a 5th base location. Zest says, well, what about your 4th? What about your 3rd? Well, yeah, that's going to be a problem, right? The first Disruptor went down over there. You can see the picture in the bottom right means that the base over there goes down. A lot of those Zealots will die. Can Time find a fight over here to capitalize it all? I mean, he killed a lot of Zealots. He loses a lot of SCVs. I'm just worried he's going to lose this base as well. And if he loses this base too, this game might just end. Disruptor Shot gets a few more workers. Time is... Whoa! What was that? He kind of walks forwards there, but he didn't target fire down the Disruptor. Now other units are showing up. You know, this army from Zest is very vulnerable. There's no Zealots or anything, so these Marauders will chase and they will kill every single Disruptor. If only he didn't eat that huge Disruptor Shot. Time, I mean, he's already in kind of a big supply lead there coming out of it, but I mean, could be even better for him. 28 workers down. Zest runs extra Zealots in to harass and buy time. The last thing he wants to happen right now is for Time to actually get across the map. That's what Time does. Time doesn't slow down at all. He just continues away to the bottom left. Okay. Well, I mean, Zest has a huge bank. If you can just spend that money. But the problem is, it's Zest. And we all know Zest is not exactly the biggest fan of spending his money for whatever reason. It's something he always struggles with a little bit. And yeah, that bank's hurting him right now as these tanks siege up. Couple storms going down. Vikings taking damage. Bio pushing through here. I mean, that Archon's going to go down right away. It'd be nice to get this Archon right. Oh, okay, he gets it. That's really nice. Just taking away one of the important tech units here. And Zest is just warping in so many Zealots, though. As his, units come out of... as his units become... or his warpers become available, this is fine for him. The High Templars coming in from the right side. Storming on top of the tanks. The Disruptor gets shut down, at least. So the Zealot's going to be enough. There's just not enough bio here to keep time in this any longer. So Zest is going to make this work as the Medivacs boosting away down the side into the main. You can see a couple of pylons here being picked away at. The Observer actually gets out of the scan. Yeah, there's not going to be enough in the Stalkers will blink in. Dead Medivac 1, dead Medivac number 2. No? Yeah, I mean, this is just going to be enough from Zest anyways. Time just doesn't have enough considering the damage he took. He's just running out of steam on the counter-attack, and now Zest's army supply is doubling what Time has in the game. And Time actually knows it, as the Zealots run into the natural is what caused the GG. It's not a GG out of no. Zest and Time going to a game 2. Zest leading 1-0. And we're going into that that's Ice and Chrome, right? I'm not being crazy. Well, it's really hard to tell from this like very small glimpse of the map. Because I'm also tired, and I also feel like I might just be forgetting a map that exists at the moment. Time and Zest drive into game number 2. Meow. Oh, look at that. Time on the top, Zest on the bottom. They've spawned in the same base. Oh no, it was just an illusion, guys. Don't you worry. Top right is Time. Down a map in this best of 3. Bottom left up a game. It's Zest. As we get into game number 2. Let me see what the next stage of this game will bring us. As, well, a little bit of Chrono boosting away. We got us all started on Ice and Chrome. Nice large map, man. We've got ambient sounds on this clean feed, and all I hear right now is like... It's like, just want to make sure you feel really cold, Wardy. You know, you wake up at 5 a.m. you want to cast some StarCraft? Well, you better wrap up warm. We want you to feel, chilled to the bone thanks to Ice and Chrome. Ooh, now I'm chilly. Now I've done the windy sounds. I've made myself shiver a little bit. All right. Yeah, I really feel like Time just took a 5th base too soon. Or took a 5th base and had complete disregard for his 4th and his 3rd. And, I mean, obviously just losing one of those bases and then taking the big disruptor shot kind of forces you to be in a bit of a rough spot. And recovery from that point was always going to be difficult. And it absolutely was difficult. Didn't work out well at all, actually, in the end. Oh my god, the ambient sounds are so loud on this. Oh my god, okay, well. Stalker on the way up as we get underway on game number 2. Again, not really much to talk about just yet. Time has expanded, so is Zest. Apparently 50 resources lost, at least Scout and SCV died or something. I'm assuming that's SCV resources lost. I don't read Chinese, so I'm just doing my best guesswork at the user interface. Man, these ambient sounds without the game music as well, it makes me feel kind of lonely. Just like, it's an empty world. You know what I mean? Again, I don't have much control of the sound, guys, because we're watching a clean feed, so... we just kind of roll with what we're given. As we do have our Blink is being chrono boosted out of this Twilight Council. So again, that Blink up and running. Stalker here fighting against a few of these Marines already, so having a little bit of a fight. We do have a few Marines already jumping into this bunker, so getting into the bunker, getting this started up, and a starport on the way from Time. Very standard stuff so far, really not something to be too surprised about, I don't think. It's going to chrono boost out that Blink. The starport is about to complete, as mentioned, so we'll see what Time wants to do. He's already gone into a siege tank, so this is right away just tank production with a Liberator. It feels like he wants to go for another pretty early game push, in all honesty, so seems like he kind of wants to go for that right from the start here, and that's where we will head. So moving forward as the sentry gets going, a third Nexus drops down from Zest, and there's definitely a good sign for Time, because if he wants to just go Marine tank lib push, a fast early third is something that he generally wants to see because it gives him something to punish. So that definitely should be a big positive here. It's going to be seeing the extra racks behind this as well, so Time will keep up the aggression past this initial attack. He's going to have the extra racks, so step in combat shield nice and quickly. And it's set up pretty well for this, honestly. As you see, Lib is off and away to the bottom right, so heading toward that main base. Honestly, it's kind of a large map to push across as well, though. I'm kind of surprised that Zest is... I'm kind of surprised that Time sort of sets up with this. I mean, in a way, is he even going to push? You know, this Marine tank force staying at home. Stalker's warping in here from Zest. As he starts up charge, it seems as though Time's just going to stay at home and let this Liberator harass, but then you've kind of built into, like, early tanks defensively, and they're not really going to have much of a role. I mean, obviously, if Zest starts to get aggressive, then a little bit better, but, well, this Liberator gets sighted right away, so Time's just going to pull it back, and he doesn't do anything with it. So Zest actually gets away with this pre-4-minute third base, and that's obviously a super early third to get away with. He's just walking away with murder right now. Dropping that third so early, no worries at all about it. That's pretty good news for Zest, in all honesty. Now the Stalkers take to the map after they were set up defensively initially. He just misses the Liberator. Actually, we saw the shadow of it flying across the screen, so really just missed the Liberator with these Stalkers, which... well, there's a tank and bunker here. I mean, the good news from Time, having built the tank count up from a very early stage of the game, is that the tanks are obviously up and in good numbers. There shouldn't be much of a chance for the Stalkers to really break this, I don't think. Let's just get ourselves setting up. See command center. Down in the main. Pushing through, Stalkers have to back away. Tanks siege up here. Fire pushing through, a couple tanks coming in, and it's going to see Cess blink back a little bit. A few Stalkers off over the left-hand side. I mean, this is finally the time where Time gets to push, right? But obviously he's kind of waited a long time, so there's definitely been a bit of build-up here in this. You're going to see these Marines loading up into medevacs. Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty passive overall. Definitely a little bit more passive than what we kind of usually end up seeing from a Terran, especially when Time's gone 3 racks, right? Like, this is his first real push out, and definitely expected this to go a little bit quicker, in all honesty. I mean, he has this Liberator now, getting back around, finally getting some probe kills. And these Marines want to do something. Blinked in by the Stalkers. Oh no, 16 Marines go down. What a disaster. That wasn't good. That wasn't good at all. I mean, now Time's kind of in a weird spot as these tanks are still set up. Zest is obviously just in a great spot because he just took down so much army supply. This is kind of a lame game number 2. After game number 1 is pretty fun. Game 2 is just kind of being Time sitting back, then he decides to drop, and it goes horribly wrong. It goes horribly, horribly wrong as Zealots and Stalkers move into the natural. I mean, they're just going to charge straight through. Storms on top of these tanks. The bio unit's in a lot of trouble. And everything's getting cleaned up. GG from Time, and that's going to be a sad way for this series to end. Zest 2-0. Yeah, that was less than what we would have liked to see. Well, is this the last series of the day? No, we've got both semifinals still coming up. Yeah, we've got both semifinals still coming up and the finals today. Obviously, a little bit unfortunate GSL overlaps.